Soul Hackers, Bloodline Invaders series, part 2. As I have told you in part 1, soul hackers have been detected, and these are not friendlies. It really comes down to this. It is about mind control. George Orwell was right in his famous book 1984. It has always been about mind control. And if you can begin to understand how each aspect of the human life experience has now been funneled towards this simple process of controlling the masses, and it has been well perfected over thousands and thousands of years. It's been so well perfected that artificial intelligence, AI, now understands it. It has to be this way because the biggest fear, religion, government, anyone who tries to control, dominate, possess any human being is sick. Their soul doesn't exist. They do not have a soul. These people in here, take a good look at them. I told you before, most people do not know what government means. So you're going to get a real good basic lesson. It's from the Latin verb, governo. It means to control. And the Latin noun, mentis, meaning mind. To control the mind. Are you getting this? All government, all religion is predicated on this foundation of controlling your mind. Bye-bye to the mouse and hello to mind control. The most basic form of mind control is repetition. You have to understand the human soul that we think, they learned how to break it a long time ago. So let's talk about how they're doing this, because the technologies that are now being deployed have been perfected in the military and then brought into the independent research labs that have taken even further what was designed for the military. Now you can read this for yourself. I'll let this stay up here, but you need to understand that this is a patented precision device. It's a non-lethal weapon which includes 1, neuro electromagnetic device which broadcasts sounds into the skull of a person or animals by way of pulse modulated microwave radiation, and 2, a silent sound device which can transmit ultrasound above the human hearing into the skull of mammals. Note, the sound modulation might be voice or audible subliminal messages. One application of voice-to-skull uses was an electronic scarecrow to frighten birds in the vicinity of airports. Go ahead, put it on. You're going to like it. Plug in, because you need Wi-Fi. It may already be too late to consider the ethics of mind control technology. We have gone so far beyond it. I don't even think ethics or morals of any kind any longer play into this. Now here you are looking at real software. All those halo cameras that you see, take a look to what's next to them. If you don't think this is real, you are in la la land. And I want you to pay attention to what they can do. You are not immune. I am not immune. As much as I want to think that I'm somehow more enlightened, more awake. No. When it comes to this, there is no exceptions. I've told you before about the alphas. They're here. They've been doing this. Welcome to the betas. Yeah, you must have Wi-Fi. You're addicted to it. You just don't know it. I want to talk for a second here about nanomedicine. Now, it has gone a long way from the days when it was merely a concept, an idea. No, they have perfected this down to an art. It works. It's saving lives. The question then becomes, what if you could begin once a person has been infected or injected with these nanotechnologies? I told you about the fact of chips. And as you can see into this one, we're getting into about 4 distinct areas. Now, the chipping, we've learned, can now be done in a manner that is so innocuous in its approach that you think that this is just the most best thing that has come along. And it is. But at the same time, it's not. But the fact is, I don't know of probably any life being on the planet that probably is not already infected with these. So when we talk about how these work, these transceivers, I thought I would show this to you to show you where the technology has advanced from. And as you can see here, we can put an external transceiver. It's a long-range transmitter, transcranial, and look how it works into this. It uses the body, oddly enough, also for energy. Then we have the subdural transceiver, ultrasound transceiver, to a neural dust. Remember I talked about the neural web? Yeah. And then finally, we get into the neural dust. It's a polymer encapsulation recording sites. Are you believing this, folks? Yeah. And they use the core belief systems. Regardless of where your position is on religion, God, whatever, they use it to their advantage. And they use it to our disadvantage. How many of you out there, how long has it been since you may have had a really good night's sleep without alcohol, medication of any kind? It's becoming more rare. Because the reality of the situation, this is where you are at. This is where I'm at. We are in there. The goal is to put every human being on the planet in a digital DNA identifier. Includes your soul, folks. And if you think that this is, again, some internet conspiracy crap, wake up. You need to understand, even while I'm making this video, you and I are being bathed in this stuff. They can read our thoughts. They can put thoughts into our heads. They can read our conversations, our most quiet, intimate moments that you share with your loved one in the most intimacy setting. Guess what? You're being recorded. Yeah. The iPhone 8s, the Galaxy 8s, 9s, and 10s that are already on the boards, yeah, folks, get ready. You're going to be able to see just what AI can do with your mind. We see these movies and then the television shows about the ghost hunters and what have you. What you don't understand is that these EMF meters, right? Far more to it than what most of us ever realized. I was taught that growing up to question everything. And as I have seen how the media, the industrial war machine, has continued to grow, it virtually controls everything. This may be one of the few outlets that you can, at least to a limited degree, express freedom of thought and speech. Here's a direct quote from Dr. Delgado. "We need a program of psychosurgery for political control of our society. The purpose is physical control of the mind. Everyone who deviates from the given norm can be surgically mutilated. The individual may think that the most important reality is his own existence, but this is only his personal point of view. This lacks historical perspective. Man does not have the right to develop his own mind. This kind of liberal orientation has great appeal. We must electronically control the brain. Someday, armies and generals will be controlled by electric stimulation of the brain. That someday is today." Let's just go through some quotes. You don't think that this has been so well thought out? The brain controls pain. It controls fear, sleep, empathy, hunger. Everything we associate with the heart or the soul or the nervous system is actually controlled by your brain. Everything. What if you could control it? I've never seen a central nervous system as a kind of vintage, I see it as a vintage switchboard. All thick foam wires and old-fashioned plugs. The circuitry isn't properly equipped. After a surplus of emotional information, the system overloads, the circuit breaks, and the board runs dark. That's what shock is. Darren Strauss. Ayn Rand. That which you call your soul or spirit is your consciousness, and that which you call free will is your mind's freedom to think or not. The only will you have, your only freedom, the choice that controls all the choices you make and determines your life and your character. If she had only known today. Matthew Arnold. The will is free. Strong is the soul and wise and beautiful. The seeds of godlike power are in us still. Gods we are, bards, saints, heroes, if you will. You see, folks, this is what I think is the key here. They know the power that each of us possess. And they have done their ultimate best in suppressing that knowledge. The fluoride in the stuff that we've been drinking have contributed to this, the pineal gland. It's all been cleverly done. And if you don't think that you can have thoughts that there's demons or ghosts in your house, you might be surprised that that's not your thought. Remote brain targeting. What have we become? I have shown this before, but it requires you to see it again. When we talk about hacking of the soul and how we have been deluded into thinking that we actually have control of that, how do you know you have control of it? You wouldn't know. And when you begin to understand, when I challenged you in part 1 to tell me, to define your soul, this has it all part of it. It is the silent sound of mind control. They've been perfecting this for decades. Longer than many of you who are watching this have been alive. And if they started perfecting this before you were alive, where do you think they are today? So what does it mean to have a soul? Is it meaning your ability to think? To think right for wrong? Oh, we could get really deep in this, but I'd be curious, what is your definition? I like this. What is a soul? It's like electricity. We don't really know what it is, but it's a force that can light a room. I dare say it could light a planet. Throughout my life, I have seen a lot of different religions, and I've always questioned this, always. Why is it that we have no memories of our birth? None. I'd be curious if we have memories of our death. So here you go, folks. This is probably one of the best diagrams I have seen of what a soul is. It's a marvelous, marvelous flow chart. I'm going to leave it up here so you can see it. Here, I believe, is a weapon that we can use against those who have been using us. Just a game. You see, the youth, their soul is in a video game to many of them. I capture your soul. It's like the tribesmen in the Amazon forest that when they first took their pictures, the people thought they had taken their souls. It really is about mind control in so many different areas. Truth, it's the new hate speech. During times of universal deceit, telling the truth becomes a revolutionary act. Thank you, George Orwell. Mental slavery is the worst form of slavery of all. It gives you the illusion of freedom, makes you trust, love, and defend your oppressors while making an enemy of those who are trying to free you and open your eyes. Dr. Death, Joseph Mengele, said it best. The more we do to you, the less you seem to believe we are doing it. Isn't that what's happened to you and I? The fact is, folks, in all likelihood, our souls have been hacked. And a digital replication has been made. It's called soul control. And think about this real quick. New technology where you can beam sound to the individual listener and preserve the quiet. This is military technology, folks. Think of the implications of this. Subliminal mind control. It's real, it exists, and it is deployed today. It's the synthesizing of your soul, my soul, the soul of humanity. My God, what have we become? And if you don't think duality rests in all of us, you're a liar. Because it does. What is the famous line? That which I do is that I do not want to do, but I find that the very thing that I do is the very thing that I hate. I found this interesting. That NASA had the gall and the audacity to say that they have perfected a new quantum device. Quantum being the optimum word here. Our new amplifier has it all. Right in front of us. They've mapped out the human brain to where there's nothing left for them to map out. They know. But you see, we consider ourselves awake. Reality is, all of us are still in a coma. All of us. I choose to think this because I believe that no matter how much they try to control, no matter if they could make a copy of my soul is eternal. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all kings, nor in all the future shall any of us cease to be. I choose this, my friends. And if you think that this is just a conspiracy, Google this one. You'll have fun with that. So the voice-to-skull technology, it is a new form of mind control. You need to understand it's deployed, it's out there. They're watching. There is no place you can go. As I've told you, the soul has weight. So we know that it has existence. But here's what I'm concerned about, folks. This continuation of the transhumanism that is now, they're trying to replace it with the life being experience. I hope this never happens. I won't be here, thank God. Remember this, you do not have a soul, you are a soul. You have a body. May we all find that place where we're all seeking. Don't give up. If there is a shred of resistance that you and I can muster and say no to this, then let our voices rise now, let it be proclaimed, and let it be seen. I thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Be kind to one another, and let me know your thoughts on this subject. All right. Take care of one another. Because if we don't protect it, we're going to lose it. Bye.